He was using Google Maps. He had things formatted and ready to go. It sounds like a small step, but it actually makes a huge difference. He was able to get a job in 2 days. You can't get a job in 2 days if you don't have a resume ready to go. That's not gonna happen. How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Boma. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur and community leader, and this channel is dedicated to helping you succeed here in Canada. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a debrief of my conversation with Aboubakar Idriss. If you haven't watched that interview, pause this video and go over there, put a link up there to the links to that video. Please go watch it and then come back and I'll tell you some of the key takeaway messages from that interview. If you're curious about what I think the key takeaways are from my interview with Aboubakar, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it. Let's get started. My interview with Aboubakar was really important for a few reasons. Number one, I think it's really important to show that it is possible to succeed as an immigrant in Canada. I mean, many of us know this, but sometimes it's just so powerful to actually hear from a person who has been there and done it, to hear how they did, how they succeeded, and what sort of takeaways they have. My interview with Aboubakar really focused on not just the content creation side of things, the income side of things, time management, but also just his story coming into Canada as an immigrant. And the first gem that really stood out to me is just the importance of not burning bridges. To be honest, it's not something I'd ever heard a Canadian immigrant mention before. And the context of that was that Aboubakar was saying, you know, he had a good job, he was happy, but he just kind of knew that he could have maybe more stability and also provide just more opportunity for his kids. And so he talked to his boss, he told her, here's the situation for why I want to move, this is what's going on. And, you know, he kept the door open for, you know, whatever the future could hold. And it's something that I thought was so important, because oftentimes as immigrants, we're super excited and we're saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait to come to Canada. I know I was. When I was moving to Canada, I was counting down the days. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. And I was just in the US, you know, I was not even like coming from a different country. I was just next door in the US. There's just something about moving to a new country, traveling to a new state, even going to a new city. That's just kind of exciting. And so many immigrants are just like, peace, see you never, and literally just leave. And there's just something to be said about, you know, being able to keep and preserve existing relationships in your country or your city of origin, because you never know when you'll need them again in the future. It could even just be because you need a reference from your previous boss. And if you've been like, bye, I'm never going to see you again, then, you know, that relationship is just not going to really produce any sort of substantial reference. So that was a really good point about keeping relationships intact and not burning bridges as you move to Canada, because you never know. Lots of people come to Canada and it doesn't work out. So even if, you know, you're going to Canada with all the good intentions and you know that Canada is going to be your new forever home, not burning bridges is just such good practice. But that's takeaway number one. Don't burn bridges. And takeaway number two is the importance of networking. Aboubakar talked about the fact that from the start, you know, he was talking to people in the elevator, he was talking to, you know, his colleagues, he was talking to people in the plane, he was talking to people and absorbing knowledge wherever he could. And that's really important, because in Canada, you're going to hear so many perspectives about the immigrant experience. And my channel is dedicated to showing you that, you know, it is possible to succeed in Canada. I'm an immigrant and I did it, so you can too. However, you're going to meet people who are going to tell you it is impossible to succeed here. You're going to suffer. It's difficult, XYZ, XYZ. And I think being able to hear from multiple people and ask them about their experiences is really important. And it's also a tool to network, because by talking to people and making those connections, you're building relationships. And like Aboubakar said, networking is the name of the game. A lot of the opportunities and just how Canadian society is structured really just depends on who you know. And it's not really in a corruption sense or in a nepotism sense. It's just that in Canada, word of mouth and recommendations really goes a long way, especially if you live in a city like Victoria, which is not too big. But even, you know, my friends and my family, they live in Vancouver and in Toronto, you know, networking really goes a long way. And in today's society with the internet, there's really no excuse to not sort of do any sort of background research and networking before you move to a new country, because it's all in your fingertips. It's all in the internet. And so that's key takeaway number two, the power of networking. And that leads me to key takeaway number three, which is stay ready. I don't know how else to explain this. He was using Google Maps. He had his resume ready. He had things formatted and ready to go. It sounds like a small step, but it actually makes a huge difference. The number of immigrants who ask for directions and are like, how do I get here? How do I get there? There's nothing wrong with asking for directions, but sometimes you got to rely on this, little device we have called a phone. The number of immigrants who come to Canada and don't really know how to format a resume, it is shocking. And I think that's one of the things that Aboubakar talks about, the fact that he was able to get a job in 2 days. You can't get a job in 2 days if you don't have a resume ready to go. That's not going to happen. And I think that's one of the things that as immigrants needs to be emphasized, that you need to be prepared, you need to stay ready, because when that opportunity strikes, you need to be prepared to take it. I have a video talking about how to format your resume for a Canadian market. Please check out that video, because being able to get a job in Canada means that your resume needs to be formatted to a Canadian style. And many immigrants, or maybe most immigrants, don't get a job in 2 days. If you don't get a job in 2 days, it's not because you're weird. Nothing is wrong with you. It takes time to settle in a new country. However, your settlement process will be a lot smoother if you have your resume and all those things ready to go. Key takeaway number 4 is the importance of multiple streams of income. Canada is an expensive country, BC is an expensive province, and Victoria is an expensive city. And regardless of where you find yourself in Canada, it may not be in BC, which is really expensive. It could be somewhere else, but regardless, it is expensive to live here. Some things are free, like education and healthcare, but there's still lots of expenses that goes to just having a good quality of life. I mean, tuition, if you have kids in higher education, you're gonna have to pay for that stuff yourself. If you wanna go on vacation and things like that, there's just a lot of expenses that you need to keep in mind. Having multiple streams of income does not hurt. If anything, it actually moves you further ahead in life. And I think that's one of the key takeaways from that interview with Aboubakar, the fact that you don't have to necessarily go into content creation as a tool for multiple streams of income. It is there, it is available to you, and it's free. But whatever you do, just know that multiple streams of income is super important for just success in Canada. Be creative. It doesn't have to be on YouTube. It doesn't have to be on the internet, but think of what skills you have and think of what opportunities are present in your city. For example, if you're a Black woman, getting your hair braided is really expensive. And so I know many immigrants come to Canada, and because, they're girls and they have the skills, they end up, just having a side hustle of braiding hair. That's one example. Another example is people I know who are really good cooks, and they create a, home business centered around food. And they have social media accounts, and it's just cooking traditional food. You may be watching this video and you may be like, why would anybody be interested in going and buying XYZ item that I cook all the time? But trust me, there is a market out there for the product that you are wanting to sell, or the service that you're wanting to sell. Think outside the box, but sometimes it's sort of the most unpredictable things that people want. Getting your hair done, getting food done, getting clothes made, stuff like that. Do not underestimate, just the value of the skills that you have and how you can monetize it to create another stream of income. And last but not least, I think it's just the power of positive thinking. I think Aboubakar talks about the fact that he lives his life with no regrets. He does not make rash decisions. And if he makes a decision he's not completely happy with, reflects on it and uses it as an opportunity to grow. And I think that is so key in the Canadian context. Canada is not easy. As an immigrant, there's going to be so many challenges along the way, but it's really important that, you don't use the challenges that come and think about it as like, oh my gosh, well, I'm in Canada, I should go back home. No. Use those challenges that present themselves as an opportunity for growth, because that's the only way that you'll be able to thrive in Canada. Those are the key takeaways from my interview with Aboubakar. Did you have other gems from that interview that you want to share? Let me know in the comments. Thank you again, Aboubakar, for coming on my channel and sharing your experience and your expertise with us. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you have not done that already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.